It's November 19th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a haunting signal from space, a vanishing lake, and an explorer's chilling illusion. Let's begin. On November 19th, 1969, Apollo 12 was drifting silently above the moon's far side, the place where the Earth disappears and contact becomes impossible. For a few long minutes, the crew was alone in a pocket of darkness humanity had barely touched. And that's when the sounds began. At first it was faint, a tiny chirping threads through static. Then it grew into a sequence of melodic whistles, raising and falling like someone, or something, was trying to play a tune through the comm system. The astronauts froze. They knew every noise their instruments could make, every hum, every glitch. The crew radioed in the moment they cleared the moon shadow, but Mission Control had heard nothing. No interference, no crosstalk, nothing unusual on their end. The signal seemed to only exist inside the Apollo 12 capsule. Later, NASA engineers combed through the data. They couldn't match the whistles to any malfunction, vibration, or known radio phenomenon. The archived recordings still exist today, filed away like a riddle nobody's been able to solve. The astronauts tried to laugh it off at the time, joking about moon ghosts and mysterious lunar musicals, but years later, when astronaut Alan Bean was asked about the incident, his smile faded. He said the sounds didn't feel random, they felt intentional. If those whistles weren't interference and weren't equipment failure, then who, or what, was capable of reaching out into a sealed spacecraft on the far side of the moon? On November 19, 1998, in the hills of County Antrim, Ireland, something that science even struggled to fully explain happened. Lower Rima, the lake locals called the Vanishing Lake, simply disappeared. Not over days, not even overnight. Within a matter of hours, the body of water had stood there for generations, drained away as if it was swallowed by the earth itself. Residents reported hearing an unsettling rumble beneath the ground the night before, a vibration that shook the windows and rolled through the valley like a distant thunder. By morning, the lake was gone. Just a muddy gaping basin remained, cracked and steaming in the cold air. Scientists pointed to underground fissures, limestone caverns, and natural drainage. It was geological, predictable, and harmless. In 1898, exactly 100 years ago, the lake had vanished then too. A carriage attempted to cross during a storm and the horses lost their footing. The wheels slid and the coach plunged into the churning water, and every soul aboard drowned. According to the legend, the lake only drains when a spirit of the drowned coachman rises from the depths, searching once more for the path he never finished. So, this wasn't the first time the lake has vanished. Locals say that the lake has emptied itself several times over the last century. In the late 1800s, again in the early 1900s, and then once more through the 20th century. Each time, people reporting unusual sounds, strange weather, and sightings that they really couldn't explain. On November 19th, 1493, while sailing the uncharted waters near Hispaniola, Christopher Columbus and his crew witnessed something that would puzzle historians for centuries. The sun was sinking when the lookout shouted from the mast, "Creatures off the port side." Columbus rushed to the rails expecting dolphins or perhaps debris, but what he recorded in his log was far stranger. He described 3 figures rising from the waves, their forms breaking the surface with eerie and deliberate grace. They were not shaped like fish, and they were not shaped like anything the crew had seen before. Columbus wrote that they had some human features, though not beautiful. Their faces were pale, almost colorless, washed out like bones left out in the sun too long. Long thread-like strands hung from their heads, moving in the water like hair. And the unsettling part wasn't their shape, it was the way they stared back. The creatures didn't flee, they floated, motionless, watching the ship as though they were trying to understand the men aboard. For centuries, manatees have been blamed, but Columbus had seen manatees before. He knew their shape, their behavior, and their gentle, rolling surfacing. To him, these weren't manatees. The log entries describing the encounter are unusually detailed, far more detailed than routine wildlife sightings. Sailors whispered of the sea spirits, drowned souls, and sirens that lured ships from beneath the waves. What Columbus saw has never really been fully explained. Whatever it was, he believed it was not of this world. If these creatures weren't manatees, and they weren't illusions, I wonder what they were. Maybe something that observed the ships passing over for centuries without being fully understood. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.